it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're focusing in on a very important topic, and that is understanding the experience of being in a relationship with a narcissist or psychopathic individual, and that is the experience of feeling like you have to please them, you have to adapt to them, you have to be a certain way, you have to look a certain way, you have to concede, you have to jump when they say jump. And if they don't say jump, you have to ask, well, how high do you want me to jump? When do you want me to jump? At what time do you want me to jump? And this experience of being in a relationship with a narcissist or a psychopathic individual creates, in essence, a sort of a secondary sort of persona that you develop, almost like a shell or a relationship that comes out as an effect of being in a relationship with this type of individual. And I'm going through this video trying to look into the camera. I got a nice comment from a viewer who requested that I look more into the camera when I do these videos. So I'm not a video expert, and so I'm not sure if I'm looking in the camera when I'm doing these, and I'm not reading anything. This is just a basically stream, a video blog, so to speak, of really my insights and the dynamics that come up in as a result of my studies and my insights and things of this nature. So, and it's also things that I hope to help to educate and to serve you to ultimately become empowered in the face of what is narcissist or psychopathic abuse and the trail of tears that really creates as a result of it. So I'm trying to look in the camera. She said it would be more personal, so if this is more personal or better for you, then just let me know. I hope I'm looking into the camera. So I apologize for my lack of video expertise, and hopefully that'll improve in the near future. But I would like to focus in really on the example or the experience and the issue I think that comes up a lot of the time is the ramification of the feeling of guilt and inadequacy that occurs as a result of not feeling good enough, not being perfect enough, not meeting the expectations or the incessant desires of a narcissist or a psychopathic individual, someone who engages in basically a lot of emotional manipulation, covert emotional manipulation through emotional dysregulation. The psychopath engaging in a lot of sort of high-risk behavior, the charm, the seduction, the things that make you feel like, wow, I should really associate with this individual and I should be part of their posse, I should be part of their gang, I should be part of their inner circle. This person seems to be really attracted to me, and by the way that they look to me or the way that they talk to me, that I should, basically drop everything and become this person's best friend or their lover or their boyfriend, their girlfriend, what have you, or their spouse, their fiance, their soulmate, whatever it is, the dynamics in the relationship that you feel you must then develop within yourself in order to adapt to their narcissistic needs, to adapt to their psychopathic needs. And this experience, basically adapting to a narcissist, adapting to a psychopath, adapting to a pathology, or an individual who presents with a lot of narcissistic demands. In other words, it's really all about them. The relationship becomes all about admiring them, all about pleasing them. Hence, we get the term people pleaser. And then in the long run, we get the identity and the situation that occurs, which is a codependent, an individual who becomes dependent on pleasing and really sort of living to prevent their narcissistic rage outbursts, their insults. They develop their defense mechanisms, a lot of the anger, hatred, resentment, guilt, shame as a result of feeling inadequate around them. And so they lash out, they react with force, or really as a counterforce to their forcing you to be someone other than what you're not. And then also, the feeling of inadequacy, of not being heard, your opinions being shut down. Your voice made to feel like it's just insignificant. It doesn't matter. Your input, your experiences, the things that you've learned. Basically, another thing that a social work friend had shared with me is that you almost feel like they don't get a chance to really enjoy the real you. And when you give them so much, oftentimes in affection, time, consideration, gifts, you might become a cook for them. You might, take care of their pets all the time. You basically are bowing down, and I say it's like you're bowing down to be walked over. You're basically meant to be like a groupie almost, or an underling, a pawn, a puppet to their narcissistic needs. And this can become very stressful. And it really occurs, I think, in the love bombing stage. It occurs unbeknownst to you. It occurs really without your knowing. It occurs underneath the surface. So, especially when people, I don't want to say that they're naive, but maybe when they're younger, they're immature. They don't know that this is happening. They don't know that they're subjugating themselves to a lower status. They might feel like, oh, I really admire this person. Or I really respect this person. This person is so talented here. Or this person is so, they're so charming, the way that they are so good with words. Or they're so intelligent, or they're good looking. Or, this person just stands out to you. In these qualities. They could be a professor. They could be a religious figure. They could be a movie star. They could be a business owner. They could be a musician. They could be a painter. Whatever, walk of life this individual is, if you look back and look at the love bombing phase, you had really no choice. Or maybe you did have a choice, but oftentimes it was under your, out of your control or out of your power to take a codependent reaction or codependent relationship to them. If you were born into a narcissistic family and the parent was narcissist, you had to become a people pleaser. You had to, again, you had to be quiet when they said quiet. They didn't want to hear anything from you. They or maybe verbally abusive, physically abusive, spiritually abusive as well. And you never got a chance to flourish. They never got a chance to know you. They never got a chance to enjoy you or really what you had to offer and what you had to give. And that's because oftentimes of their inadequacy or their empathy deficit. And then their insatiable need to be the one in control and the one in power. So as we see, here we have, the narcissist issues taking place. And so, the experience of feeling guilty for not being able to please them, realize, in your heart of hearts that this individual, has an insatiable need to be in control, to have power over others. So as you can imagine, you can never jump high enough. You can never jump at the right time. You can never jump for them in the right way. You can never be wearing the right thing when you jump for them. There's always going to be something that they're going to peck on, that they're going to insult, that they're going to try to control. It is never going to be right for them. Things are just not going to be, it's always going to be inadequate in their eyes. It's because of a lack of empathy and the reason that they need to be constantly feeling superior, better than, and they will not let that go. So it's important for you to let go them and then let go the need for their love and approval. And this is a very difficult stage. I think it's very difficult because a lot of people, at least within my own journey, you don't realize, it becomes a life or death matter. You have to, you end up having to please this individual. If it's a parent, you have to please, or you don't get fed, or you get scalded, you get, insulted, you get door slammed, you get yelled at, all the different things that are part of, being in an environment with someone who is demonstrating pathology, narcissistic or psychopathic, in that, you develop basically a counter personality to their narcissistic needs. And whether this is a spouse, a soulmate, a boss, I mean, it all is really kind of a similar experience within different walks of life and in different areas of the world. And so if you are now examining this and looking at this and realizing that you can now redirect your energies, and rather than living for their love and approval, let that go. If that has been the motivating force, if that has been the motivating drive in your life, it is what has been basically the glue of your personality, realize that oftentimes it's an uphill battle that, you can conquer. Because if you're trying to seek love from someone who cannot give it to you, it's an exercise. It's basically going to be an exercise in futility. It's like, do you remember, as teenagers, you'd be all walking in the halls and, that guy likes you, this girl likes you, the back and forth, and then, oh, good, I always wanted him, I always wanted her, and then, as children, then they say, well, oh, now I'm going to go for this guy, or now I'm going to go for this girl. So it's kind of a similar dynamic when we talk about relationships with narcissists or psychopathic. They're just on to the next supply. They're on to the next big thrill. They're on to the next risk, that they're going to take. And they really don't have a heart to have the empathy to kind of be there in a specific way that that love, that approval, that acceptance, that belonging that you covet and crave so badly. And if it's caused you to work very hard and you feel like you're, walking and, basically empty-handed, it is because that you are looking for something from this individual which they cannot give. It's like the old saying, you can't get blood from a turnip. So this very much kind of like applies in that situation. So if you have felt a sense of guilt, a sense of inadequacy, like I've disappointed them, if you feel, unhappy living your own life because you feel like you never fulfilled the objective, learn to let that go. Let that go, and don't feel guilty. Don't feel inadequate. Don't feel like you have failed them. It's just how things are. It is what it is, as they say. And, let that go. Let them go in love and light, and allow yourself to pursue your dreams, your actions, your desires, your walk of life. You're tuned to your own drum. If you don't have a tune to your drum, find a drum and get your tune, so to speak. Get your heart going, get your mind going, get your spirit going. Find out what you love, what you embrace. If you've been holding yourself back in so many areas of your life, and things that you've wanted to do, be, or have, or become because of this hurtful individual, let that go and begin to pursue that now. Begin to pursue that immediately. Find those things, pick them up in life, and really pursue them. Don't let it go any longer, because you have waited and suffered long enough. It's time to live and walk into your dreams and be surrounded by the love and light of really the universe and the overall human consciousness and humankind that's going to embrace you and what you have to give. And then furthermore, will give you what you've always been looking for and to receive. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.